Marisa Michaels always had a pleasant smile, yet she still wished for whiter, brighter teeth. Marisa's teeth were thin and translucent, with uneven incisal edges. She always wanted to whiten her teeth, but was apprehensive about the time involved. At just 27 years old, when Marisa heard about LUMINEERS, she knew they were her solution. Marisa's smile evaluation revealed thin teeth with translucent incisal edges and slight discoloration. Her intraoral evaluation concluded adequate candidacy for the procedure, with a good standing of periodontal health. Determined by the width of her smile, Marisa's treatment plan included the placement of 10 LUMINEERS on teeth numbers 4 through 13. Marisa chose the Ultrabond Plus shade white for uniform whitening, and no cosmetic contouring was necessary.
So the first step is to prepare the teeth by putting a little etching agent on. What I like to use is Etch and Seal. Etch and Seal has phosphoric acid and aluminum oxalate to seal the dentinal tubules. I like to put a little dab on each tooth. And I like to take the brush and just push it around. I have more control this way. Now I like to have the Tenure A B. Now the reason I like Tenure A B is it doesn't need a light, it desensitizes the tubules, it seals them, and you don't get any sensitivity. Get a little air here. And now I start putting Tenure S all over the surfaces because it's a bond enhancer. And by putting this Tenure S on, I protect the surface against contamination. Now you want to be careful with this so you don't cure it with the light before you put your LUMINEERS on. Otherwise they won't seat. Okay, so let's put these on. There you can see the excess. And the Ultrabond pretty much keeps them in position. You don't want to push them down with too much force. And magnification is absolutely critical on all of this. I like to use the light now to tack these in place. Close your eyes, and I'm going to cure the center of each of the 4 anterior teeth. And that way they will not slip around. Close your eyes. Now, for creating a stress-resistant, non-micro-leaking margin, put the Ultrabond, not with the porcelain. Now we have spotted these in place. And we'll take a look and remove most of the excess. And I have a brush with some Tenure S on it. Now I go through and I wipe off all the excess. See that? How we're getting that? And you want to get to that fairly soon because the Tenure S is causing the material to set. Now we go on the lingual side. We want to make sure that we don't see any open margins. So as we look around in here, we don't see any space between the porcelain and the tooth that isn't covered with and filled in with the Ultrabond. Because once we polymerize it, the porcelain and the Ultrabond and the tooth will all become one homogeneous substance. And I'm just taking some of this out now. Okay, so now we'll do each tooth. Close your eyes. And we're doing 10 LUMINEERS today. So now we've set all of these. Then I take a Schure 349. That's this instrument right here. This is an orthodontic instrument. And the reason this is so good is it won't scratch the glazed porcelain. Never use your hygienist scaling instrument on there or you'll get scratches. Then I like to go to the lingual side, and I need to get some light in here. I just want to make sure that everything I take out of the interproximals before I set the lingual side will save me having to scrape it off. And it makes the contacts opening easier. Because some of this already begins to polymerize. And then I think I'll take the light and go back on the lingual side and set everything on the lingual, but first I want to show them how much resin is back there. You see, we don't have a lot of resin around there, but there's some. And I don't have any open margins between the porcelain and the tooth. So soon it'll be one fused mass. And just to be safe, you can go ahead and polymerize from the lingual. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. And we've got it nice and sealed. And we'll start taking off the Ultrabond. We start with the LUMINEERS Finishing Kit. And I like to use the, it's the only time I use a burr, is the 12-fluted burr won't scratch the porcelain or won't remove the porcelain like a diamond would. So my first step is to separate the Ultrabond from the tooth. One of the things that makes these things processes simple besides the materials is having the right tools. The finishing kit, 4-power magnification. Now we'll go back over here and start scraping off some of the Ultrabond that's on the labial surface. And it begins to take shape. And now, before we open the contacts, you can see we removed almost all of the Ultrabond. And we'll go to the lingual side. I like to use the interproximal diamond. That's in your LUMINEERS Finishing Kit. Now what I'm doing with this magnification is getting right in between these teeth. And you know, if I touch something sensitive, she will feel it. Let's take a look at this interproximal embrasure right here. See, when you look at that, it's filled in. Now, when we go in and start removing that shoulder and make it blend. And then I do the same thing on the central. Now what happens is, by opening that embrasure, I'm getting rid of the shoulder. I'm getting rid of the excess Ultrabond. See the difference in that embrasure now? And I've taken all the shoulder off, blending it with the tooth, and I'm stopping right at the margin of the gingiva, because we never retracted any tissue, and we're not going subgingival. Okay, now we'll go to the lingual side, and this is the football-shaped diamond that I'm using. And all we're going to do is blend the porcelain, the Ultrabond, and the tooth, because they're now one homogeneous mass. And then we'll check occlusion after that. And then what we're going to do is check the occlusion. And the marking paper will disclose prematurities, and it's usually Ultrabond that hasn't been removed. Now just grind your teeth around. And so all our marks are on natural tooth structure. That's critical, because if you have the incisal edge too long, or you got too much pressure on the porcelain, it pops off. So now, we're back to the needle nose diamond now on the lingual. And we're going to come back there and just open the interproximals. And we do this with water, so we don't cause the porcelain to fracture, crack from heat. Now I'm going to open this contact. And notice how I just saw a little bit and then I rock it. Now if you've never used a seri saw before, so you rock this saw, you don't saw, you just saw as you begin to go through the contact, and then you rock it after that. And I don't open all the contacts on the first visit. I open all the easy ones. Then we have the patient back in a week, and what I didn't open, opens. Then we'll take some porcelain polishing paste, and we'll put a little of this on every tooth. And this makes it nice and smooth. Now let's have a smile. She doesn't have those anymore. You want to take a look at those now? Or maybe you've been looking up at your screen anyway.
Wow.
Now every one of you could be doing this for all of your patients. And so what we've done is we have found a material to serve us rather than us serving the material. And this is what you can do.
I talked to a dentist about doing porcelain veneers because I have very thin enamel. I had very thin enamel. And it sounded like a great idea. I wanted whiter teeth. I wanted stronger teeth. Then I heard about LUMINEERS. And so the process was incredibly easy. I went one day and I got my impressions taken, which took about 20 minutes. It was actually a very pleasant experience. And I came back a few days later for a try-in, and I saw how the teeth would look, and I was very pleased about that, which made me more excited. And the following day I came in and I had them placed and finished. If someone were considering whether or not to get LUMINEERS, I'd say absolutely get them. There's no reason not to.